but it could signal that Bitcoin has found a bottom. Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Pietro, SwissBorg Analyst and SwissBorg Ventures Analyst, and welcome to yet another market outlook presented by SwissBorg, where this week we're going to take a look at recessions, we're going to look at the macro picture in the European economy, we're going to look at bear market and bottom of market indicators, and then finally we're going to look at how SwissBorg can help you navigate through bear markets and then through markets in general. To start off this week's market outlook, the first focus will be given on the European market. Why did we go for a focus on the European market? It's because it's one of the most in danger to go in a recession. It's because it's very interconnected to the rest of the global economy. And of course, a lot of our users and interested parties are in the European markets. Therefore, a focus on this market would be most relevant, especially given the recent negative news and in general, all the negative news that has been experienced since the start of 2022. Mainly, of course, related to inflation, Russian war, and sky-high gas prices. Those three are really three of the predominant factors leading to the current state of the European economy. If we look at the G20, so G20 is the 20 largest and most significant economies in the world, and some of those are in the European market, for example, Germany, France, Turkey, Italy, and a couple of others that I might be forgetting. But essentially, the G20 has a very large part of the European market in it. The G20, of course, has not been doing so well in terms of economic and GDP growth, and this is directly correlated with the rising inflation levels. As you can see there in orange, the bars for inflation are shown in orange, and the bars for GDP growth are shown in blue. You can see that as inflation has risen in the past year or so, therefore GDP growth has declined. And this is obvious, but to visibly see these effects is pretty concerning. On the right there, we have the map of Europe, and the darker the country is, the more it makes up in terms of weight of the European economy. So you can see really where predominantly the European economy lies in terms of GDP and in terms of economic activity. Therefore, Western Europe, and then of course Russia has a part, but Western Europe is clearly the one that makes up the largest portion of the economic activity. And of course, these are the countries that are part of the G20 analysis, so the chart on the left. This really shows that the largest countries in Europe, the most significant, are part of the G20, and they are doing extremely poor at the moment, not even given the fact that the smaller countries will be doing essentially even worse than the more predominant countries. If we look at economic sentiment as well in the European Union and in the Eurozone, we can see that we've fallen now below the long-term average. So the long-term average is of a level of 100. And you can see at several levels when we fall under that level of economic sentiment, let's say in 2007, 2008, the global recession, or even during COVID, where, of course, the economic sentiment wasn't high. Well, at the moment, we've fallen under that level of 100 again, and that can be seen as a concerning indicator. Finally, the last indicator we looked at, and this is one that I previously discussed as well, which was the PMI, so Purchaser Managers Index. And we only looked at that previously for Germany, explaining how when it fell under a certain level, it indicated a clear bear market or the initiation of a bear market, and that level was of 50. Now, if we look at the other markets, other large markets in Europe, we see that the PMI index of those countries has also fallen below 50. So overall, with negative GDP growth, with economic sentiment being low, and with the PMI also reaching lower than 50 for the majority of the large economies in Europe, these are, of course, concerning factors. But it doesn't mean that we are in a prolonged or will be in a prolonged bear market. There are certain indicators that seem to be proving quite the opposite, which we'll get to in the next slide now. Although the state of the global economy seems to be showing very negative signs, and as the slide before as well on the European focus shows, Bitcoin and the crypto market seem to be showing indication that we are looking at a market bottom and that we might not see any more decline in Bitcoin or crypto prices, at least in the short to medium term. So why do we think that it's possible that we are at a market bottom? It's because two indicators that have shown consistency in the past are also showing that at the moment we have reached a market bottom. And we'll be taking a look at both of those. The first one is Bitcoin's 200-week simple moving average. And that simple moving average is tracked by the straight line on the chart above. That straight line is tracking the simple moving average, and then the colored dots are showing the price of Bitcoin in that moment in time. So following that simple moving average, every time the current price of Bitcoin has fallen under that simple moving average line of 200 weeks, it has indicated that Bitcoin has reached a market bottom and that the price had bottomed, and consequently after that the price only increased. This happened in 2018, this happened in 2020 during the COVID crisis, and this is also the case at the moment. So Bitcoin's price has finally moved under that 200-week simple moving average, and this could, because there is no certainty with indicators, but it could signal that Bitcoin has found a bottom. The second indicator, and one that is often referenced by experts, is Bitcoin's MVRV Z-score. So MVRV is the market value to realized value ratio, so meaning the market cap to realized value ratio. And this indicator can show whether Bitcoin or other assets are at a fair price or a fair value for investment purposes to be bought at that time. And as the chart there at the bottom left shows, when the Z-score of the MVRV has reached levels of between 1 and 0, so very low levels, and those levels are then also indicated, so they're circled around on the chart as you can see. When Bitcoin has reached those levels and its MVRV has reached those levels, it has shown that the market has bottomed, and after that, Bitcoin experienced an upward trend in terms of price action. This happened again the same in 2018, this happened in 2020, and it's exactly the same at the moment, which is extremely interesting because it clashes a bit with global economic news or the economic health of our global economy at the moment. Which is extremely interesting, and these indicators will definitely keep looking at them in the short to long-term future. Definitely, these indicators are also not really in line with the sentiment at the moment for Bitcoin in the crypto market. So as Fear and Greed Index shows, we are now again at a level of 23, entailing that we are in an extreme fear environment. We thought that previously we were heading from a fear environment to a relatively optimistic environment, but that has not been the case. So as you can see, last month, the FNG index was at 31, and at the moment we are only declining, meaning that the sentiment in the market is not extremely positive for crypto and for Bitcoin's short-term future. It is needless to say that at the moment we are experiencing extremely uncertain markets. It's unclear in the short-term future of both stock markets, crypto markets, and in general the global economic health, whether we'll be seeing an upward or downward trend, whether we've already reached the bottom, whether we'll be seeing recessions, whether we are already in a rather tentative recession at the moment. Everything is extremely unclear and uncertain, and that's why SwissBorg is here to help you navigate these markets. So there are several different aspects that SwissBorg has either produced or is currently working on that will help our users and anyone really interested to invest, to be part of the crypto world, and to do it in a safe, intelligent, and efficient manner. SwissBorg is 100% here to support. And there are some direct ways that we're helping users at the moment to navigate these uncertain markets, and some more indirect ways that will be coming out. The more direct ways are, for example, the new Inflation Shield collection. So as you all know, the SwissBorg app has several categories according to what kind of crypto tokens you're interested in investing. And one of the recently launched categories is the inflation shield category. So SwissBorg, of course, as you well know, saw the level of inflation and how high inflation was rising, and immediately thought that it would be extremely relevant and interesting for people to invest based on the risk of inflation that we experience at the moment. The second direct way that SwissBorg is helping its users at the moment is through the bear market report that myself and the investment team worked on. And we thought, again, we are entering a bear market. The fact that we are in a bear market or in a crypto winter is pretty clear. So what is the optimal way for users to navigate these markets? And this bear market report is filled with very interesting indicators, statistics, numericals, as well as very practical approaches to navigating markets, and the extremely valuable lessons from the past on past crashes and how people have profited from those crashes or managed to exit them in the healthiest way possible. So these ways are very direct ways to support your investment journey. But there are also more indirect ways to navigate these markets, to be part of uncertain markets, and to still be in the crypto game through investing in our app. One of those that will be coming out shortly is SwissBorg Earn. So SwissBorg Earn is revolutionary in terms of wealth management in the crypto space, because what SwissBorg Earn is doing is to allow you to be part of the DeFi space, which is often very complicated, can be untrustworthy depending on the platform you choose, and can be extremely difficult to navigate. What SwissBorg Earn is doing is to allow you to easily and efficiently enter the DeFi space with full transparency on what protocols you will be accessing through your preferred DeFi plan, as well as the level of risk. So whether you like a lot of risk or extremely little, there is something for you in terms of risk appetite. And of course, it allows you to be in the DeFi space, but to be in the DeFi space in the most trustworthy and relaxed way possible, because investing can be often very stressful. And this removes the stress, as well as being able to rely on experts in the field and the safest and most reliable protocols. The second way that SwissBorg is indirectly helping you to navigate markets is through thematics. What thematics are? It allows you to diversify through an already established portfolio that will have weighted different crypto tokens according to categories. So whether you're interested in the Web3 space, there will be a thematic for the Web3 space, which will allow you to invest in various tokens that partake in the future of Web3. There could be, for example, a game play to earn, so a gaming-related thematic that will allow you to invest in a variety of tokens in the gaming space, whilst not having to choose a single one. So this is really the advantage of diversification, is that you don't have to rely on a single or a couple of different tokens and do a lot of research and understand why it's better compared to other tokens that do very similar things. Rather than do that, through semantics, you can easily diversify through different tokens while still being purposeful and targeted in what you want to invest in. This will also allow you, for example, to be in the safer space of investing and focus just on a thematic of larger cap tokens, so blue chip tokens, because you enjoy the safety of being with more established tokens. Whichever your interest, your risk appetite, your preference, and what your vision is for investing, SwissBorg is here to help you navigate. And with the array of products that have come out and will be coming out in the short to medium term future, it's extremely, extremely interesting for our users and for any new people joining our app, how much SwissBorg is actually allowing you to get information on various different products, as well as helping you in your investment journey. So I hope this has been extremely helpful. I highly advise you to check out everything that I've been talking about here. And for any more questions, just let us know through our social media. I wish you all the best. Thanks for joining in, and we'll be chatting next week again.